weeks for you then, Rich, kind of after the whole game? Case of just wanting it to come round?
Business as usual, really. I think last week really enabled us to back off a couple of guys and get them the required rest and let one or two bits of bumps and bruises and soreness come out of them, and gives us the opportunity to work on a couple of things that, refresh on a couple of things that A, we needed to, and B, we probably hadn't had a chance to touch on for a while. We're not having a game, so the boys have had a good weekend off. We've trained as usual this week, and everybody's obviously looking forward to the weekend, and we've practiced really sharply.
It's come just at the right time then, kind of.
Yeah, I think so. I think you look at, we got the 5 wins on the bounce, but the last couple of weeks have been very close games and tight and hard fought and plenty of emotion in them, and we just thought we saw signs, at Hull KR that we certainly needed to touch up on a few areas that we might not have had a chance on a normal week-to-week turnaround. So hopefully we've done that. The boys mentally and physically are feeling refreshed, and as confidence shouldn't be a problem, and the motivation within the squad is very, very high.
There's pressure at Hull KR, I guess, and getting that win, but different kind of pressure this week against Widnes, maybe. Favourites going into it?
Well, I think it's something that we've been used to for a while. People talking about pressure of playing big teams, pressure of going away from home, pressure of now being, I guess, favourites. But I think it's no different to how we've approached all year, really. We know we're a team that, we can't be too far away from a good performance and expect to get results. That's simply where we're at. And I think that's the case this weekend. We're going to play a team what have definitely improved over the course of the year. We've watched probably more footage on Widnes than we would do on a normal team, because it's round 1 since we played them. They've had some changes to the team. The performances have gradually improved, and a couple of times, perhaps they haven't got the win, but they've been ultra competitive, and they've built some relationships up within the team too. So we've paid a lot of attention to them on video, and as I said, we're looking forward to the game, but we know that they've got a strong motivation to finish off the bottom of the league, which would be a remarkable testament to them, I guess. For both our clubs, I think at the start of the competition where we all started, finishing off the bottom might have been a goal for both clubs. So I think we've more than exceeded expectation, and I'm sure if they can, probably get the 1 win, if not 2 wins that they're talking about and looking for, then they'll see their season as a real success. So we know they're going to come highly motivated.
Quite happy to take any kind of win, I'd imagine, on Sunday after the last 2 last-minute jobs.
Yeah, at this stage of the year, yeah, I guess we would, but wins don't come without performance generally, and our performance at Hull KR probably were a 40-minute one, or a little bit longer maybe, but not much more than 40 minutes. So we got to get back to getting out an 80-minute performance, which we have done for big chunks now. I'm really happy with the way the second half of our season's gone. I think if we can negotiate one of these last 2 games, or even both of them, I think our form will be right up there with teams in the top half of the table, top 6 even.
What do you make the kick-off times? Obviously playing after Hull. Is that something you think will affect them, or is it or not?
No, not really. I think either way, whichever way the Bradford-Hull game goes, it will give us its own motivation. I think if Hull do manage to get the spoils, then we can see it's all there for us. And at the same time, if Bradford win, I guess it puts the onus more on us more. But I think we've had situations like that now, for the last couple of weeks, and we've handled them okay. So I think that's just where we are at this stage of the year. I think it's exciting, and I think we've got enough players in our squad that would have experienced getting to the back end of the year and having to get wins in pressure games, if you like. Before then, Richie Mallers and Paul Sykes, Tim Smith are all very experienced players for us through the middle of the field. Among others that have played in these type of games before. So, it could have been worse for us. It could have been. We could have had a lot more difficult running, I guess, than what we had. But as I say, we know the dangers of all the games that's in front of us.
Why is the squad news for this week, though?
Squad news.
Any changes from last time?
No, we'll be running with running with the exact same squad. Yeah.
Do you feel that Bradford have got a tougher running last 2 fixtures?
Not if we'll play like they did at Widnes. And their away form's not been great all year, so I'm expecting Bradford to win at the weekend and put themselves in with having to go to Catalan. I think certainly going to Catalan is a trip what is generally a tough one for most teams, and Catalan themselves, I'm presuming, could have a chance by that stage of still making the top 4. So I'm certain that anybody wanting to jump from 5 to 8 into the top 4 is going to be giving it the best shot. Having said that, I think for Bradford they're both winnable games, but I think they both face a bit of trickiness. You would expect Hull to come out and show a response to the performance at Widnes, but I think Bradford have been a pretty solid team all year, and I think there are probably plenty of people after a tricky start that they sort of had that might have looked at Bradford as a team what might have a tough year, but I think they've been superb this year. And I think I said it last week, if Bradford do win the required games and get in the 8, they're more than deserving, because if you stick the 6 points on that they've been deducted, they're up challenging probably around 5th spot I think now. So we couldn't deny them that. But however, we don't make the rules. We've got a chance to get in, and I think it would be a major success for us if we met the 8 points deductions or non-points deductions. If we can get to a place where we've got 24, 26 points, certainly 26 points on a lot of years, we'll get you in the 8. So we're not worrying about that, not worrying about Bradford. We just got to take care of ourselves and see what happens.
You hadn't really spoken much about the playoffs during the season, had you?
No.
In the back of your mind, how did it go? You were miles away, weren't you, at one stage?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I think obviously the points deduction, did change. I guess changed everything for a lot of people. It sort of made that 8th spot more attainable. But it's not something that's been part of us. We've factored in any of his preparation, been part of his makeup, and we're not talked about. We've just tried to concentrate on building ourselves as a team and establishing ourselves as a competitive team and a competitive force within the game, if you like. So talk of playoffs hasn't been anything that's been part of our makeup really. But if your performances take care of themselves, the scoreboards and the points tally on the league table will do that for you. So I think before this run started, we might have looked at a couple of if we were looking at an overall picture of the season. I think Hull away, Bradford away, Leeds away, Warrington away were all games that we might have looked at. If we'd have got the bounce of the ball or kicked a couple of goals or kicked a goal, we might have won. So we think we've been sort of thereabouts and not a million miles off. But if we're being honest, probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, probably far enough away to think that 9th or 10th would probably be a good result for us. And that still could be the case. We could still finish 9th or 10th, and I still think we could look back and think, we've had a good season. But now we're here. Now we're very much in amongst it. We want to get there.
How does it feel to be talked of in terms of Coach of the Year?
It depends who's talking about you, I guess. Is my answer to that one. Dennis is. I'm good mates with Dennis, so yeah, I probably owe him some money. I think it's great. Not for me personally, just as a reflection on the club and the players. I think I don't know the criteria for judging it, but at the start of the year we said we wanted to change the perception of Wakefield on and off the field and as a team. And I think if we're looking at being talked about as a team that can make the 8, and we've attracted a lot more media attention over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and people are throwing my name up for that, I think that's terrific recognition and recognition enough for the job that we've all done, not just me, but the staff as well, and the players and the front office. So you know, that's great. It's not something that I lie awake dreaming about, and you know, if I'm not in the mix for that, I can assure you that it won't be something that plays on my mind too much. But the fact that we're being talked about in those circles is probably great for this club.
And yourself kind of looking at obviously keeping current players or bringing new players in, is that just kind of an ongoing process? Anything?
I have said for a long time, I don't think we need too much of a makeover. You know, it's taken us a while to find us feet and establish ourselves, but we've built up some terrific understanding within the team. Everybody knows the jobs and the roles, and you know, the guys are growing in confidence. But you know, I'm also acutely aware that we have got some areas that we need to shore up and improve on quality. But you know, I'm a big believer that, you know, we've had to give some people a chance from inside, and you know, we have got some guys that, you know, I'll use Frankie Mariano as a classic example. You know, Frankie has drifted in and out of the team all year. He's been hampered by niggling injuries and, you know, probably some inconsistency within his game, and you know, it's taken a while and a fair bit of work, but he's really getting to a level now of performance that has been a huge benefit to our team. And you know, if that's great and we can get Frankie over the line and re-sign, you know, hopefully we'll see some more progress for him next year. So we're happy and we're confident to work with the bulk of the players we've got. If we can, you know, bring in two or three forwards, you know, that can help, you know, stiffen up our middle a little bit and give us a little bit more punch, then I think, you know, moving the team forward and adding quality in the right areas is what we're all about and what we're trying to do, and we're confident we can do that. You know, even though we've not got too many signings over the line at the moment, you know, they are in the mix, and we know that, you know, hopefully we can improve the squad for next year.
What's the situation with Isaac John? He's disappeared from the scene a bit, isn't it?
He has. You know, in all honesty, you know, I'll speak fairly truthfully about this. I think Isaac showed a lot of promise for us early on in the year. You know, there were one or two things that probably weren't quite happening for us at the time, and some things that we felt he needed to work on. And we decided at the Millennium to play Paul Sykes at standoff. We felt he would just give us a bit of a steadier hand there and getting a little bit closer to the action to kick the ball. It probably goes without saying that that's a move that has worked incredibly well for our team. Paul's form has been outstanding. He's really complemented Tim Smith. You know, Tim plays on the ball, and Paul's happy to play very much a secondary role and play off him. And he's an experienced player. I think he's helped us defensively. He's kicked the ball extremely well for us, and you know, he's slotted really well into our scheme of things, which has just made it really difficult for Isaac to get his spot back in the team. And you know, that's unfortunately that's professional sport. You know, he's worked really hard behind the scenes on the training field. He's kept his head up all the time, and he's just waiting for that chance. But at the moment, that chance just, you know, hasn't arrived for him.
We slip and slide as we fall in love, and I just can't seem to get